Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Say Report. I'm your host, Devin Decker, and joining me, my host companion, Sejan Sarwick. And before I turn it over to Sejan, I have just one thing I need to say in the terms of is it Todd Rundgren? I believe sings the original song. This is a slant parody of a Todd Rundgren song. I now need to confirm that it's Todd Rundgren. But I don't want to record. I just want to play Resident Evil 9. See, I just want to play Resident Evil 9. That's all I want to do. Is I want to play Resident Evil 9. We're not gonna not record today. We're still gonna do an episode, but dear God, is Resident Evil Requiem, where the Q is a 9 because fucking nothing matters in the world anymore. It's so good. It's so good. But before we get there, again, Devin Decker, he's Sejan Sarwick. How you been, Sejan?
I've been good. Sorry, you introduced the topic and then ran away from it.
Well, because I don't want to. I kind of want that to be the crown jewel. And there's some other things that we need to address. Though we're not going to address the elephant in the country this episode because I don't have the mental bandwidth for it. I have to be honest with you. Fuck this weekend.com.org. It's not a real website if it has both .com and .org. I learned that from making things up on the internet. So, but how you been before we go into Resident Evil and we talk some other things before it?
I've been good, man. Been really good. I've been spending some time this week with some friends. We are in the middle of doing a Universal Monsters watch because, to go 3 steps back, we are a group that gets together to play the board game Horrified. Do you know anything about that game?
No, I do not. So Byron Allen. I apologize. Sorry, no. You have you heard of it? No, I'm not familiar with it. Please tell me more about the board game Horrified. But I do want to know. I just felt so sorry. I'm going to be quiet while you talk right now.
So the game is based on the original Universal monsters from back in the 1930s, 1940s. Creature from the Black Lagoon, Dracula, Frankenstein, Wolfman, the Mummy, and the idea is kind of you are in a town that is being attacked by all of them at once, and you have to kind of figure out ways to defeat them depending on which monsters are there, depending on what heroes you have, things like that. And it's really cool. They've got a lot of really good references to the movies and things like that. There's some really good mechanics, the wolf. Normally monsters will attack whoever's closest, but the Wolfman specifically will go after anybody that has picked up the wolf's mark, and things like that. So really specific and cool things. There's also some other versions of it with Greek monsters and things like that too. But the original was the Universal monsters, so that's the version that we're playing currently. And yeah, so we've been getting deep into that, and so part of it was more than a few of my friends saying they'd never even seen any of these movies, and it was just I was like, well, I'm not going to sit here and make us watch these movies, but if we're going to keep playing this game and seeing these references and stuff, don't you think it might be worth it? So for the last couple of months, we've been taking them in. We just did Drac yesterday.
I believe Dracula is the only one of the original Universal movies that I've never seen. If I'm going to be just completely honest.
It is an uneventful film.
Yeah, that's...
in terms of the story of Dracula, it is not nearly my favorite version of the Dracula story. And, I don't know, does this sound like sacrilege to be talking about these movies like this? But, they're not. I don't think that they are... I don't think that they are the best versions of any of these stories, certainly not the Mummy, right?
Well, no, of course not. There's one with Tom Cruise that blows it out of the water. That's right.
Yeah,
I'm just skipping it. There's no Brendan Fraser. Sorry, that was fun.
These are the ones that establish the rules for all of these things going forward, though, right? So there is definitely, I think, still enjoyment to be had and merit in seeing them. But out of all of them, Dracula is weirdly paced because it is it jumbles up a lot of the story in the beginning in order to kind of get into stuff. Then it ends instantly. Like there is like 5 minutes from the moment that you off screen hear Van Helsing kill Dracula and then credits roll. Like less than that even. Like maybe even 2 minutes. Like it just is such an abrupt ending. And then there's a choice throughout the entire thing where there is just no music. There isn't like the opening credits, and there is once credits, once the end comes up at the end, um but basically like the rest of the movie, like it is very creepily in silence. And like, you know these were interesting choices at the time, and there's like really interesting stuff to see. Also, people were still at the time much more fascinated by film in general, so like there is something to that, right? But watching it in 2026, it's not a hard watch because it's only an hour and 20 minutes long.
Yeah, they're short, which is like always the thing that I love. I love
Yeah.
that they are short because I don't know why they're short, but they are shorter. I just feel like, where'd you start? So you say that you just did Dracula. Dracula feels like the place to start because of everything that you're mentioning now. And again, as somebody who's never seen the Universal Dracula film with Bela Lugosi, I honestly cannot say anything about it.
Yeah.
But all the issues that you're describing are not issues in other movies. Like, I saw Wolfman when I was 9 or 10 years old. 9, 10. I'm trying to make it work. It's not gonna. But like that one, even at that age, it's real engaging. Like that movie is heavy on the story, where like something like Frankenstein is heavy on the spectacle. Like the stuff that you see in Frankenstein, these are things that are like burned into my mind. And the fact that nobody in my life has been like, we need to watch the original Dracula film, tells me that the assessment of that film is probably very similar to what you just described, my good friend. My good friend.
It's not like, I think that if you were going to talk about it in terms of the like what is the focus of this one, if it's not the spectacle, if it's not the story, it is by far the acting. Like it is, I mean, like you have Bela Lugosi, basically inventing the ways that we would think about Dracula for the rest of time. Like this, the moves and the choices he makes. It's kind of like that dude that played Long John Silver, and like he just decided that he was going to use like a deep Cockney, like backwoods English accent for Long John Silver, and now every pirate has to talk like that. Right? Like we just think of pirates just being like army mateys, but like that was just a choice that dude made on that one movie in the 1950s. It has not, like there was no merit to that choice, to that voice historically, whatever, right? The same can be said of Bela Lugosi and what he does with Dracula in this movie is like the choices that he makes, the slow intentional movements, the creepy eye looks, the hand gestures. I mean, the dude fucking like dabs like 3 times in the movies. Like, and it's all because like it's all him, it's all his choices on doing this. So I like that is where the focus is. The guy that plays Renfield is like amazing and has so much more screen time than Renfield ever actually fucking does in the book. So it's actually really enjoyable to watch him kind of go crazy and stuff. And there is some legitimately like good shots in it. There's this awesome shot on the ship on the Demeter when it lands in London, and they crack open a hatch and find Renfield down there just staring up at them and like laughing. And the shot of down into the hole of him down in the dark of the boat just staring up at them laughing is legitimately haunting. Like it is, so like there is definitely some of that sort of stuff going on for sure. It's just that, if you're going in because you're a huge Dracula fan, or if you're going in because you want like a scary movie, like it's not that, right? Like it is at this point, it is a textbook, right? It is not a book that you read for pleasure. It is something that you go to for reference.
That's actually a really nice way to describe it, actually. Again, as someone who's never seen the film. But you know what? You have inspired me. I think I'm going to fill out the rest of my Universal Monsters bingo card this year.
Yeah, man.
I think it's about time.
So Wolfman, to answer your question, by the way,
is what
you asked which movie we started with.
Oh yeah, okay.
yeah.
Well, of course you did. Wolfman's got
Wolfman.
nards, Sejin, and and that was going to be my question. If in Horrified, does Wolfman have nards? Because like, hand me that wolf's mark. I'm gonna kick him into nards.
Fucking man.
Monster Squad.
Yeah, it's
That's cool. No, that's good. I like that.
So that's silly, goofy shit I've been up to this week.
Excellent. I do love that. It's because what I didn't see Scream 7. That ended up not working out for me. So if you're here from the very special episode talking Mighty Ducks 3, my Scream 7 plans fell through. Which happens. I understand that. I have tickets to see it later this week, and fingers crossed we'll be able to talk about Scream 7. It's just that as an opening day film, some members of the party were a little nervous to go to an almost sold out theater. And honestly, I kind of get it. Like the world is a fucking hellscape.
Man, you don't have to explain it to me. That's why I didn't go and see Hoppers yesterday. There was a bunch of preview showings of Hoppers around, but when I looked at the tickets, they were all almost sold out. So I could have gone, but then I would have been in a theater full of people, and there was definitely something about that was like, I can wait.
Yeah, right? Like it is something that it was one of those situations where like the member of our party didn't want to put it into words where their fear was coming from. And I'm like, so I get it. Like I see that there are a lot of people in there. We just don't need to see the movie. We can cancel our tickets. We can get a refund and we can find a showing probably during the week that is going to have a lot less people in it. But like, just say that like the amount of people makes me uncomfortable. I can read it in your face. I can like see it in your smile. I don't know why I went into Lionel Richie there. But like it is, and I don't know, because in addition to like the really bad place your mind can go with like kind of Fish in a Barrel, a large theater, and based on the content there, there's also the fact that modern moviegoers fucking suck. I don't want to be like those Hopper screenings that you talk about. All I have in my head are visions of when I saw Trolls in a pre-screening. And it was like Dale and I and a bunch of children. And I understand why, because it's a kid's movie. But you think like these type of ones where they're giving out the tickets and where they're doing it, like, like it was a lot of kids. And it was a lot of people who had zero movie etiquette because they're kids. And you don't want to get upset with a kid for being excited to be at the movie theater, right? We were all there at some time. But it does affect the viewing experience. That's just a fact of the matter.
Yeah, the kids stuff never really bothers me unless, oh my god, when like I went to go see Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Did I mention this?
No, you've not told this story.
That when I went to go. Oh, yeah. When I went to go see Five Nights at Freddy's 2, and I did what you were talking about. I tried to find like a midweek, like middle of the day showing, because I know that it's a popular franchise with kids and that there is potential for that. And nothing makes me more uncomfortable than going to a horror movie and seeing kids there. I don't normally care at like action movies or even some horror movies, depending on, if they're PG-13 or something, then no, that doesn't bug me. But like the first experience for me ever was going to the midnight premiere of Rob Zombie's Halloween, and there being a kid there like in a sleeping bag in a chair. Like it was like, why is this child here? Like, who dragged this kid to this of all things? And yeah, those people left in the middle of that movie. So like I have just like been like completely ruined by that experience. Anytime I see kids in an R-rated film like in theater space, it's not the kids that are pissing me off. It's the people that brought them that suck.
Right.
But also the other adults there without kids also are shitty. Yeah, that's the thing that gets me, is just like the amount of people that can't seem to remember how to go to the movies is ridiculous.
Yeah. Because in addition to the fact that, like, all those people, they're going to get up and they're going to go to the bathroom. And they're going to, like, get snacks and not be quiet about it. And they're going to be on their phones. And it's like, I don't want to deal with that stuff either. Like, aside from any other, like, fears about being in a large, like, in a big theater with a bunch of people. I mean, did I talk about was it Arrival? Was that the Amy Adams movie? Where she talked to the alien.
She Jeremy Renner.
Yeah. Had the grossest, like, final line in a movie where Jeremy Renner goes up and is like, let's make a baby. And it's like, you guys are supposed to be, like, that's not cute or fun. That was just disgusting. And, like, it was somehow made worse knowing that she was gonna get pregnant with his baby because of the, like, out of sync timeline of that movie that is such a big part of the story of Arrival that, like, oh, that's great. That kid that Amy Adams loves so much was initiated by Jeremy Renner in, like, the douchiest voice ever going, let's make a baby.
Let's make a baby.
It's like, oh, that warms my heart. Ugh. But that movie, when we saw that movie, there was a dude who had, like, a saxophone case and was walking around the whole time. Like, he just was active that whole movie. And I gotta tell you, that movie didn't do any favors in, like, getting me to like it on its own. But then you add the distraction of a guy just kind of, like, piddling about the theater with a big fucking saxophone case. Like, it's hard to get comfortable. And then the worst part about that story, because there's somehow a worst part about that story, is I wound up in a conversation with that guy for like half an hour because of the person and the people that I went to go see the movie with, like, approached him afterwards. Like, what the fuck?
Why would you do that?
Let's just say I'm not going to say the name, but you and this individual are from the same hometown. And hopefully that answers that. Exactly, right? So yeah. So that was an experience. So we didn't see Scream 7, and I'm a little bummed about it. But you know what happens. But that was going to be one of my big set pieces of this episode, was talking about Scream 7 and talking about Resident Evil 9. But also, to go back to a little thing that we teased last week, we said we were going to talk about the IDW Battle Nexus Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series. CJ and I both neglected to read it again this week. I mean, let's be honest. I did not leave my house. You know what happened that, like, we could be talking about? A blizzard.
The storm of the century.
The storm of the century. The storm that has supplanted the blizzard of 78 in the memories of Rhode Islanders, even as it was happening. 3 feet of snow. I think it was like 37 inches to be, like, completely accurate. And even then there was some decimal point that doesn't matter. But like 37 inches of snow. Someone forgot to shut off the buzzer on the dryer. That scared the shit out of me. 37 inches of snow at the airport, which is where they judge the record by. But on top of that, like, a lot of places had at least a foot of snow on the ground already from earlier weather events that happened. I didn't leave the house. Like, they closed my office through Thursday. Like, the first 2 days it was, you're not working, right? State of emergency. You'll get paid for this, but you don't need to. Please do not report to the office, and we don't expect you to work from home. Wednesday and Thursday were work from home remote days. And then, like, I tried to go in, and someone they're like, don't even bother. Like, just work remotely. It's not safe enough to come in and try to come into the building. Like, we authorize you to work remotely. So I didn't leave my house. Like, I left my house yesterday for the first time. But after we recorded, I was pretty much in my house for the last 5 days. And so distracted, right? That's distracting because you got to deal with the snow removal. Like, eventually I'm going to have to leave my driveway, right? You need to make sure there are paths and things like that. That was a nightmare. And in all that nightmare, I didn't get a chance to reread Battle Nexus. And since we're not going to talk about it till we both have read it and are ready to discuss it. So that one gets delayed again. But we're still going to deliver on some Ninja Turtle-y goodness. Because the game that keeps coming back for more, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Splintered Fate, it released a new character. Like, we were told that it was just going to be an update on what was coming on February 24th. But nope. They shadow dropped a new character to play as. And honestly, neither one of us had guessed that it might be this particular character that they were adding. No. I had put all of my eggs into the basket of Jenica, the fifth Ninja Turtle, who was introduced in issue 100 of the IDW series. Well, Jenica as a human was not, but she became a turtle in issue 100. Excuse me. after a blood transfusion from Leonardo, which I always then have to point out that her name is Jen and she got a blood transfusion that made her into a turtle, is literally just She-Hulk's origin story. Like, they're not even trying to hide that they're like, we just ripped off She-Hulk's origin story for our character named Jen. And she introduced in 100, but then the Punk Frogs play a very large role in Splintered Fate, and they're not introduced until issue 125. So Jenica's absence in the game has always felt weird. Like, it doesn't quite line up with the timeline for me. So her not being there, and then the fact that in the teaser trailer they showed her for the new character was they showed 4 slashes, and she historically uses, like, I don't know what those are called. They're like knife knuckles. I'm sure they have an actual name. And I'm very good with most of the ninja weapons that have been featured in Ninja Turtles, like movies and cartoons. Dave never really used
You're talking about
those.
the claws?
Like, yeah, are they just claws? Like, is that what you call them? Just ninja claws?
Well, so the ones that go on the inside are...
Those are climbing claws.
Hand
those have
claws?
Yeah.
But the ones on the outside, I believe, are called, like, techies or something? Techos? I'm trying to remember. It's, let me see. Worn over the hands, the claws will be used for scraping and striking. Techo. Yeah, I don't know what the line over the O is supposed to be for an accent, but techo.
Techo? Okay. So she uses 4-bladed Techo, and a lot of people were thinking it could be Slash, but he only uses 2-bladed Techo, and like Shredder, he has that. And then someone else uses 3-bladed ones, and they're like, well, it can't be them either. Oh, the person who uses 3-bladed ones is the person who ended up in the game. Like, that was why people were like, no, it would be 3 if it were that particular character. So I had put my eggs into Jenica. Seijin had put his eggs into the basket of Usagi Yojimbo, which makes perfect sense because my boy Seijin is a big Usagi fan. So I understand that. And
with the other thing I was thinking is that with the dimension hopping being part of the story, which is, I mean, part of the story of how they meet Usagi, right? So like it just seemed to be a very easy add to me.
I mean, if we were actually talking about Battle Nexus, I would say that, yeah, it's in the DNA. Dimension hopping, traveling through like time and space, big part of the Turtles story, introduced in the 4th issue of the original Mirage comics. So yeah, it would totally track if Usagi.
I mean, I am also reading Batman, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles meets Batman or versus Batman, whatever the conjoiner is, and it's a fantastic series, by the way. But that is also the point. There is that there's Kang. Kang sends them and the Shredder. Krang, thank you. Sends them and the Shredder through the portal into basically our world Gotham, or our world DC Universe world Gotham, in order to kind of just get them out of the way. And they find out that that while they're there, they're slowly losing their connection to the mutagen. It's like going inert, essentially. Oh, wow. And so they need to find a way back before they transform back. But the thing is that Shredder doesn't depend on the mutagen, so they're like, fuck, we're like, if we turn back, like, we're with Ed Shredder is just let loose. But yeah, but dimension hopping is a huge part of that story as well.
Yeah, so it totally tracks, and I would have been, and it's the 7th character being introduced, and I know that's like a stupid thing that I'm saying, but he was kind of the 7th added character to the Shredder's Revenge game, so it would track if he were that too. Like, there was some validity there. Neither one of us. And then you had like some like a lot of people are thinking that like Angel as nobody, because she already has she's designed in the game. Like, we've seen her in the game. So people are like, well, it would be very easy to just add her as a character. Which, like, that's not what I want. I don't want an easy add character. I want there to be a little bit of growth there. So they went with Alopex. And it has been the most fucked up thing from the outside looking in, but as a character, she's great. Like, she fits so well with the game. She's basically like she's kind of like a Raphael, but her DPS is closer to Michelangelo's. She's kind of all of the Turtles in one, in a way that none of the other Turtles really are. because she kind of has a lot of like Leonardo in there with the fact that the tool she starts with is kunai that she throws in she throws 5 of them in a conic shape, similar to how Karai fights using kunai in her fight in the game. But then also her special makes her invincible, and Donnie is the turtle who can go invincible. She really is kind of the package of all the turtles.
She's the Mario,
yeah,
which is an interesting late add, but yeah, like the fact that like they're kind of the neutral one in terms of what are you giving up for what are you getting. There's actually it's pretty even keel for them.
Yeah. And what I like about Alapex, she is a she. She identifies as a female. I understand the them of them because of the Mario and that, but I do want to make sure that people do understand that fact. Though we'll talk about the outside looking in of it all. She also, her inspirations are really cool because she kind of has Raphael's like addition to critical attack chance. Hers goes up to 12%, not 15 like Raphael's. But where his like also adds, I don't know what the other one is. It adds a chance for critical hit. Oh, and damage from critical hits. Hers is a 12% boost to chance for critical hits and 12% boost to your movement speed, which is like a godsend. Being able to move in that game is awesome. And then her other one is it adds dodge capabilities. And dodge is not something you could really modify outside of one upgrade on the ninja path. So, like, to start with a high dodge, she's great. I've beaten the game so many times as Alapex, kind of because you have to. Because there's a story that's tied to it that requires 5 playthroughs of the game in order to complete. Like, you learn a little bit about her relationship with Karai, her relationship to the Shredder, and she believes that Shredder is being controlled in this whole nefarious game that is Splintered Fate. So hopefully some more is coming because they also updated the character select screen and there are 3 more spaces where there could be character portraits placed. So maybe we'll see Yosagi and, Jenica and probably nobody or Slash because, again, they do exist in the game. I understand why people were, like, thinking that's probably what it would be. Though, like, they're not iconic characters. And the way they're treating Alapex, they're treating her like she's this iconic character that everybody should know about. And, I mean, I know she was created for the IDW comics. Straight up, she is a brand new mutant that was created for them. Created by Kevin Eastman, though. So, like, one of the original creators is responsible for this character. Responsible feels like the wrong word to use there. But, yeah.
They authored this character.
They authored the character. Yeah, that's good. So it's nice, and she fits in really well. She's fun to play as. But from the outside, a lot of people are upset because Raphael refers to her as Al. Like, Al, it's good to see you again. And her and Raphael, they date, right? Like, one of the reasons why they added an Arctic Fox mutant was to kind of mirror Ninjara from the Archie TMNT Adventure comics. Like, where he dated a fox. But this whole Al thing, there's a lot of people who are like, he's never called her Al before in the comics. And, like, it doesn't bother me, but it's really bothering some other people. What does bother me... That's so weird,
because Al is a woman's nickname as well.
Yes. Like, I know that. Yeah.
Like Allie, Alberta, like there's all sorts of Al names that you could call somebody Al. I mean, there's even famous women... people in this kind of realm, like Blind Al from Deadpool. If you're into TMNT, you probably are also into Deadpool in some way, and there is an entire character in that named Al too that's a woman. What, does that upset you too?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, the anger at the fact that her name is Al, that Raphael refers to her as Al, like, you want to feel like it's just like, actually, Raphael never referred to her as that before, so this seems like a strange addition to this world. But it's not that. You know that it's the other way that can be interpreted and actually cause some anger to people.
Yeah, like, what are they thinking that Raph's gay in this one?
Like, no, I mean, Alapex is very clearly a woman.
Kyle's gay, Devin.
Yeah, so that whole thing's crazy. I'm more upset that, like, on Twitter there was a quiz, like, test your Alapex knowledge, and all of the questions were based on the IDW, like, continuity, which is where she's from, except for question 7, which was, what character does Alopex have a complicated history with? Do you have any idea what the answer to that question is?
Is it Shredder?
Shredder would definitely be the answer if we're living in the IDW realm, because, yeah, she has a wicked complicated history with Shredder, down to the fact that, like, he killed the bear that was hunting her family, which is why she trusted him as a human, which led to her being mutated by the Foot Clan, and thus Shredder, in killing the bear that hunts, became the new bear that hunts. Like, yeah, that's a complicated history. I also would have accepted Karai, because they were basically sisters, right? Mm-hmm. Like, they were treated like sisters.
It's a very Thanos. It's a very Thanos with Nebula and Gamora style like relationship going on between all of them. Yeah,
yeah, like that, like straight up, like these are the ones that I'm like that. First of all, this is a very difficult question for me to like get behind, because a lot of people like to say in a comic book space, who does this character have a complicated history with, is like, I don't know, throw a fucking rock, right? Because that's how comics work. People have complicated
what was the actual answer?
So the answer that they went with, I was trying to see if I could find it because I thought I saved a copy of it, was Tiger Claw. Do you know Tiger Claw is going to be my first question?
No, I don't know if I recognize Tiger Claw from anything. I barely recognized Alopex. Like, Alopex was a character that when you began explaining to me, I remembered existed in the world, and I have seen in, a couple of different pieces of, like, media and art and things like that. But, like, I could have never told you the character's name if you showed me a picture first. To then ask me to go a level deeper on this character, you've lost me.
Yeah, okay. So, Tiger Claw has never appeared in the IDW series. Tiger Claw is a character that was created for the 2012 adaptation of the Ninja Turtles that aired on Nickelodeon. And he just showed up one day in the show as like this person who'd been a mutant for a while. And we didn't get his backstory until much later into the series, like season 4 or 5. It might even be a Tales episode. I don't think it is. I think it's like a season 4 episode. Where it comes to find out that he and his younger sister were abandoned as children. So they were like street urchins out on the street. So the Krang kidnapped them and mutated them into a tiger and a fox. And they took the names Tiger Claw and Alopex. And then they like worked in the circus, and that's how Tiger Claw learned how to fight. And then he trained his sister, and then he wanted to leave the circus. She viewed that as a betrayal, cut off his tail, which she now wears as a trophy or as a belt. So like she comes back to get revenge on her brother, who is Tiger Claw. It's like this whole complicated thing. But it takes place in a completely different continuity than the continuity of Splintered Fate. Like, every other question takes place within IDW/Splintered Fate, so, like, works as an answer for Alopex. I mean, straight up, the Alopex from the 2012 series, who was a human who was mutated into a fox mutant, is not an Arctic fox. Like, she's very much just, like, a red fox. That's a huge change to the character. Like, it was... like, when that episode happened, I'm like, it's kind of cool that Alopex is now so universally known that she has transcended from her origins in IDW. But at the same time, that's not Alopex.
Right.
Like, and then it was really strange that, like, what? So I'm looking it up. The episode that she was in, because I want to know when it came out. Tale of Tiger Claw is season 4, episode 24, I think. Yeah, 24th episode of the 4th season is where this character shows up for legitimately one episode, too. It's not like once they introduce her into the show, she shows up all the time. She shows up in one episode.
So it's like a nice reference there,
It's
but
a
what a weird pull to like pull the lore from.
yeah. So I'm like, all right, I guess like because there was multiple choices. That's why I was trying to find the quiz, and I'm like, I mean, like of the people listed here, Tiger Claw would make sense, but that can't be the right answer. But it was. So that's it. So it's nice to have her there. And I certainly think that like introducing a female playable character who definitely has more staying power than like Angel as nobody, which it's such a weird way that you need to refer to that because so many people have been nobody through the history of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. When they made Angel nobody, it kind of felt strange to me. Because, like, Angel, existing character, let's combine her with nobody, but also she's nothing like the nobody that we know from the Mirage comics and the 2003 series, where he was essentially Batman without the ears. He was also a police officer. Nobody was originally a police officer. His whole thing was corrupt, so he donned the guise of nobody because nobody's going to do anything. So that's what it is. Nobody. So I have to become nobody if I want to make a difference. And then April, when she found out that she was a drawing, not a human being, Ninja Turtles got real weird in the Mirage days. I'm just going to say that. She went to Alaska, and because of the fact that she felt that, like, she wasn't actually the daughter of her parents, she had no real parents, she was a drawing brought to life. Which, like, that sounds crazy, but that's been established since, like, the Donatello micro series with Kirby.
Yeah.
Like, so, like, they just, like, Peter Laird was like, oh, what if we revisit that crystal that can bring drawings to life? Oh, and what if April is one of those drawings? But at the end of that issue, like, Casey's like, are you going to be okay? And she's like, no, Casey, I'm nobody. And then she goes and she becomes nobody in Alaska in the Tales of the TMNT arc. Like, just crazy stuff. So Angel being nobody, she does not wear the all-black costume. She wears a bright purple exosuit. She's essentially like an Iron Man character. Okay.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
And again, I wouldn't mind playing as her, right? Especially if she kind of combined a little bit of Metalhead's range with some melee. Because going back to Metalhead, I beat the game, the Splintered Fate update. I cleared it with all 7 playable characters now. And Metalhead felt real good when he was introduced. Maybe a little OP. But now, like, him being a range fighter when everybody else is up close melee, he feels terrible. Like, he's just not as fast as anybody else. Mm-hmm. And that you feel that. But yeah, that's what happened in Splintered Fate. I'm done with it at this point, right? We're gonna put it back into the box until they give us more content. But Alapex was a very cool, unexpected addition that upset some people, like, made some other people excited, and just kind of left me scratching my head as to, like, if you're willing to go there, like, can you go there with the character whose, like, absence feels real strange? Like, I'm not saying that they need to, like, introduce Mutant Town and things like that, but they've taken things from the post-issue 100 IDW Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for this game, and they're like, nobody will care. Nobody will care that we've just injected things into this game and that we're not caring about the story. But, like, if you think that, you don't know Ninja Turtle fans.
Yeah.
Also, Magic the Gathering Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I guess there's not going to be Ninja Turtles all the time, but have you seen any of the cards? Because they finally had, like, the pre-release on Friday. So photos of them have been floating around since, like, last November.
Yeah. No, I mean, they look good. The Magic stuff is so weird. I have some friends that are so deep in it, and what I mean by they're so weird is, I mean, specifically the licensed stuff that they've been doing over the last few years. I know they've been kind of doing some oddly licensed stuff here or there for a long time, but the way that they've leaned into that in the last, like, 5-6 years is crazy. Because I'm, like, thinking about, like, the Avatar, the last Airbender cards that had just come out and stuff like that too, and I was under the impression that these were just like goofy little like side things not meant for like tournament play, but like my friends that are deep in it are like, no, these are legitimate cards. You just have to just kind of just accept the fact that the Ninja Turtles are now in the Magic universe.
Which of
Which,
all
as we said before, is like they're dimension hopping assholes anyway. So like it's not that hard for me with the Ninja Turtles, but like Avatar.
So yeah, like it does. A lot of people that I talk to, they have these complaints about like they kind of disrupt Magic because they're not standalone things. But it's also the way that like Standard is played. Eventually, they're gonna age out, so they will become standalone things. It's very strange. I mean, you're probably not wrong about the licensing going back more than that, but really, this last year alone. Where you have the Final Fantasy VII cards. You have the Spider-Man cards that were also, because Hasbro and owns Wizards of the Coast, all like they had a bunch of Spider-Man cards that came with exclusive Marvel Legends figures that depicted stuff on the cards. Avatar: The Last Airbender, we actually have some of those in the house because Dale was like all over it. The Ninja Turtle ones of all of these things are the ones that I kind of like the most because everything that we've been talking about, this like, it's all about adaptation. It's all about interpretation. It is legitimately these guys hop universes and come from a world where the multiverse not only exists, but thrives. Like they lean into there being a multiverse of Ninja Turtles within the Ninja Turtle stories. Right, many times. They have, instead of like it's just the 1987 Turtles or it's just the Mutant Mayhem Turtles, Wizards of the Coast have created their own unique set of Ninja Turtles. Like Raphael, instead of using Sai, uses Jit, which are just like Sai, but they only have two prongs. They have the long prong and then one prong that comes off. Michelangelo is using his Karigamis, the like scythe with the chain. Leonardo is using, I think it's a single. They're not curved katana. They're not curved like katanas. He uses a straight sword. Donatello still gets stuck with a bow staff, which is fine. Like I don't care that. But all those three have very unique weapons. April is very unique in her whole backstory. Like, it's cool that rather than try to recreate something before, Wizards of the Coast went hard with the whole we're going to blend and shape and create our own universe. That also features Jenica and Lita, two additional female turtles from the IDW universe who have cards. My favorite card is the Casey Jones card. There's one that's like improvised arsenal. And on the wall are like all of the various masks that he has worn. And that just feels like a nice homage to the character throughout the years.
Yeah.
It's real. Like, he's got the Rise mask, the 2012 mask, the body count mask. And then like the fourth mask is just kind of like his general mask. And then like there's just so many nice, like there's a Goon Gala freaking license plate sticker on his golf bag. It's been interesting, but that's another one that people are like, ugh, I'm so tired of them doing this with April. Like, she's not a reporter. And it's like, shut up, man. She has been everything.
Yeah. She's always been quick to pick up an improvised weapon around.
Yeah, I mean, that's more Casey. The improvised weapon card is that. But, like, the way that people are...
But I've definitely seen, like, many a time where she has been depicted picking up, like, a chair leg or something and taking a swing at somebody.
In order to... Yeah, it's just... It's these people who are, like, have one set version in their minds, and that's what they need to keep seeing. And I don't know. Like, I feel... lucky that the Ninja Turtles were never just one thing for me. That I mean, we were kind of blessed. Blessed is a very strong word to use, but we were in our formative years having the '87 cartoon and the 1990 movie, because I was able to like understand that different versions of these characters can exist.
The idea that Yeah, we've talked about this before in other contexts, but like the ways in which fans imprison artists into a certain vision for characters these days is it just sucks because like back in the day you did have all these really cool different things and you know sometimes they work, sometimes they didn't. The stuff that did work would show up again in other iterations and things like that, and like you don't get that in anything anymore. You don't get that in video games because God forbid they ever try and break the formula on a beloved series in video games, then everybody tries to rip their throats out, right? And like comic books, the second that you try and introduce anything new in terms of a backstory, people are like, this isn't canon, and it's just like, calm down. Like the whole point of all of this stuff is to you know flex our creative muscles with this stuff. And like I don't know, but yeah, they had I mean like they had stuff going back as far as like a Lord of the Rings deck a few years ago, and like I think Assassin's Creed at one point.
I don't know. All I know is that like it really feel like the last year is where
They
it
do God
felt
of
like
War.
we're gonna put the pedal to the metal. Where they're
Yeah.
like every quarter we're releasing a licensed like deck series.
Yeah, well, I
So
mean, so starting in summer of last year with Final Fantasy, it looks like it was Final Fantasy, and then Avatar was in the fall, and then Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is going to be coming up, and then they have another Marvel superheroes one listed for the summer, and then they have a Hobbit set listed for later this year, and then they have Star Trek for the beginning of next year, is
yeah.
what I'm seeing.
And that you glanced over the Spider-Man one. Like I don't even know when the Spider-Man
Well,
was.
that the
Yeah.
Spider-Man one was before the Final Fantasy one
Oh, okay,
even. Yeah,
cool.
there's like
Cool, cool, cool.
a Heroes Commanders deck or something like
Gotcha.
that where it was like basically they did like this is all from memory. So like forgive me if I'm getting the
That's all
details
right.
wrong,
Yeah.
but from what I understand, they were like four sets of like 100 cards or something like that, and basically the four sets were just basically variations on each other in terms of like art and a couple of different powers, but from my knowledge they were all basically similar. I again maybe getting that part very wrong. I also don't play Magic,
Right.
but in terms of the ways that people were talking about it from a Marvel going to Magic standpoint, people were impressed, but like also very much just like I don't know what to do with any of this.
Yeah, they synergize well with themselves. Undeniably, these cards work like there's clearly something built where like the improv arsenal or there's a lot of some people are mad at the Magic the Gathering Ninja Turtle stuff because there's such an emphasis on pizza, which like shut the fuck up. What the fuck are you talking about? They're the Ninja fucking Turtles. There's going to be an emphasis on pizza. But there is straight up like a food sort of like mechanic that is a big part of the Ninja Turtles thing, where like you can generate food counters, and then if you give food to certain cards, they get a boost. Like anything that has a food counter on it gets like a +2/+2 to their attack and toughness. Like it's
Yeah.
real, like, but they've done a good job to like synergize within the set. But it's when you try to introduce these cards to the land of magic at like large that it becomes a little harder to like understand how this is supposed to work together. But
Yeah.
thankfully, I haven't played Magic in like 10 years at this
Yeah.
point. Like 10 years ago, I was going to like weekly events and things like that. But it's just so much fucking money for, at the end of the day, nothing. Like, I pulled like a rare commander card the first time I went to one of those, and I tried to like sell it at the store, and he's like, I won't give you that much for it, but I can give you more cards. And I'm like, yeah, I guess I'll take more cards. But it's like, oh, this is dangerous.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
yeah. So, yeah, that's good. I think we've samurai edged the people long enough, Sejin. Let's talk about some Resident Evil 9.
Yeah, man. First of all, I don't know, I have not been paying too much attention to the marketing, not because I've been like against this game, quite the opposite. I've been so excited for it. I have tried really hard not to like let myself get too deep into what's happening, because one of my favorite things about stage Resident Evil games has been finding out or figuring out how they connect to what's going on in the larger world, because we've gotten so far removed from the mansion and Umbrella and Raccoon City that, like, is this still the same world? It very much obviously is if you're
If you
digging into
pay
all the side
attention,
stuff.
yeah,
But like, how, yeah, so how is it, right? Like, what is this chapter bringing to this story is huge for me on these games. So I didn't want to spoil any of that because I wanted to see what would happen in action. And one of the first things was that I had just been under the impression up until this week that you were playing as what's her name there, Ethan's daughter, Winters.
Rose.
Rose, but it's not. It's
Nope.
it's Ashcroft, another weird little side character that was introduced in I think one of the side story games there. Outbreak, I think, is what they are. The Resident Evil Outbreak games. There's a character by the name of Ashcroft who is like this
Yeah, it
like
is. Nice job with Outbreak. Nice job
yeah.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I mean, because I love these games and I love these stories, but like, so her mother, which I think is, oh, okay, now I said that and I can't remember her name, Julie or
Alyssa.
Jenna Ashcroft,
Alyssa
Alyssa,
Ashcroft.
Alyssa Ashcroft is yeah, I was thinking of Jenica still, I don't know why. Alyssa
Happens.
Ashcroft is like a reporter who, like, she's got like a sharp tongue on her and she can be kind of like off-putting, but she is by no means an antagonist. She's a protagonist character. She also is one of the few characters that's capable of decapitation hits, which is one of the big things that's really cool about her. Alyssa, I mean, I don't know
Yep.
about the Ashcroft in this one, but yeah, Alyssa Ashcroft is one of the few Resident Evil characters that they give like a really OP power set to in terms of offense, because her defense sucks. But that's the trade-off with her, is that she can do these like critical hits with zombies and like kill zombies in one hit, which is huge in a Resident Evil game. Yeah, so so Alyssa Ashcroft is like a really interesting character to reference to, because I don't remember Alyssa Ashcroft having a huge impact on the story other than like being in it. It's not like talking about like a Winters at this point, or a Kent, a Kennedy, or Jill or Chris. It's
Redfield.
really interesting. Um, yeah, Redfield, yeah. But Jill's, Valentine, but
Well,
she
that's
might
true.
as well be
Sorry, but
Redfield.
you said I don't know. That's true. You said that I messed up. I'm sorry. Yeah, we got last names though. We know the last names. Sorry.
Um, no, he didn't. But there's so much in these movies that have come out, like the Capcom specific movies I'm talking about. I love the other ones too, but the Capcom specific movies that are clearly in universe uh, stories, right? And then there's everything that they did with the whole turnaround with 7 and 8, that then also still came back into everything that goes on with Umbrella and all that. And it is really, it was really cool to learn that it was not what I thought it was. I mean, like, that was one of the first things that I found out this week, was that I was just completely way off base. I had just been under the impression that we were doing Rose's story, but yeah,
No, it is Grace Ashcroft is the starting character.
Grace.
Yeah, like I don't like you say you want to like experience this stuff. Like I have all the answers to this thing. Cause like the best way to describe Resident Evil 9 is that it is like it's a requel, man. It is Scream 5. It is Halloween, but like not the Rob Zombie Halloween, but the one that like tried to get everything into one continuity. It is
Right, yeah.
Jurassic World. It is all of these, like it has become big to like finally go back to the original stuff when the franchise has gone a little bit off the rails.
Well, you say, well, I want to make sure that we get this story right, because
Yeah.
off the rails for Resident Evil was not 7 and 8. Resident Evil off the rails was 5 and 6. Like, and so 7 and 8 were it kind of finding its new footing, but it's the idea that, like, okay, the reboot has really hit and now people are in love with this franchise. How can we make the old fans and the new fans come together in one story?
There you
Right?
go.
It's what I
Yeah.
was talking about, where like you can see how the 7 and 8 connect to the larger story, but that it's not on the surface, and it's not important. If you can still enjoy those games quite fine
On
without
their own.
having any
Yeah.
real knowledge of anything before 7. And in fact, in some ways, it's actually, I'd be very interested to talk to someone that came in on just 7, because Because I'm sure at this point they've gone back, but like, what was it like to play 7 and 8 and not have all this fucking baggage with you, right? And that sort of thing. But the Yeah, I've one of the big things that I'm really interested in with this one in particular, just from a mechanics perspective, is also the choice to put it in first person or third person, and on top of that, the choice for that to change depending on which character you're with in the story.
Yeah. So, do you know the characters who are in the game? The playable characters in the game
It is Leon, right?
it's Leon. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
when you start the game up, after it asks you your age, which I still don't know why they had to know how old I am. On some level, I feel like it's probably just data collection, but it would be awesome if it it affected how they're like trying to scare me.
So there's two things
Yeah.
about the age thing that I think are going on, because I heard about this because weirdly the first thing is that they weirdly tell you that it shouldn't affect gameplay, like as you're picking it. Am I
Yeah.
wrong? Did I hear that wrong?
That does not seem true. It does because it's very like
Like on the screen when you are picking your age, supposedly it says, "Tell us your age, blah blah blah. This will not affect gameplay." Which is like, what?
I do not
Then why
recall
am I
that.
giving this to you?
That is something I don't recall. The thing that stuck out to me is that please be accurate. This is the only time that we'll ask you this question, and you will not be able to change it. Like, it's very upfront about the fact that, like, we're asking you your age. You know what, Sejim? We're here. I played Resident Evil in this same area where we're recording. Let's do something crazy. Let's do something new for the Say Report. I'm going to boot up a guest version of this game, and I'm going to see exactly what it says. This makes me a little bit scared.
Because one of the things was that I've been hearing about is that people are kind of confused because it doesn't seem to affect gameplay. And I thought that the impression I was getting was that it tells you that, but maybe it's just people have just done their legwork and figured out that it doesn't seem to be that. Because if it doesn't affect gameplay, then what is it all about? That's the conversation I've been hearing.
Right.
Is that like what is this question about if it's not that? You know, some people are claiming maybe they say that, but it is just affecting gameplay. They're just not letting you know that because they don't want to let you know that they're changing the experience. But the other thing is that I think it might have something to do with an RNG engine. I think there might be a random number generator string that they kick off with your age. And so like, yeah, two people that are 36 may get some of the same stuff going on, like, oh, the same herbs in the same place. But if somebody's like 42 and 36, maybe they have completely different item experiences or something, you know?
Oh, dude. It just told me that you tried to set up a Discord chat with me on PlayStation. Can you look up for me what I have to do in order to make it so my system can play everything? Because I set this up. I played this on PS5 Pro. This was my first experience on PS5 Pro. It was gorgeous, by the way. But I set it up so that, like, only I can use it. And now I need to set it so anyone can use it. Like, that needs... There's a setting for that. And I don't know what it's called.
PS5 Pro?
No, just PS5. No. It's like offline play, maybe is what it's called.
Console sharing and offline play.
Yeah. How do I
to make
change
your PS5 Pro accessible to anyone in your home, go to Settings, User and Accounts,
Gotcha.
Other, and then you should find console sharing and offline play.
Okay. I will enable it. Now, this is necessary, what we're doing here, in order to play as a guest. So there we go. That was a fun little moment for everybody.
Right, because when they say that we're never going to ask you this question again, they even mean if you restart the game.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like they're just saying, like they're one time only going to ask you this question. Yeah, that's the other reason why people are thinking that something else is going on besides just changing gameplay experience, is because like if you decide to put in 24 but you were lying, but you can't ever go back and change it, like, is it going to screw you somehow in some way?
Okay, so
that's the big thing. Everybody wants to know how it's going to screw them.
Exactly. So initial settings: voice language, display language, subtitles on or off, audio device control speaker on or off. Those are all good. This doesn't matter. I'm not going to confirm, confirm the HDR. So here's the first thing that I wanted to talk about is when you start up the game, this is the first message you get after you do your settings for like languages and then your settings for HDR. Resident Evil Requiem offers you the ability to change the camera perspective. It is recommended to use first-person perspective when playing as Grace to enhance the horror elements, and to use third-person perspective when playing as Leon to enhance the action elements. Would you like to change the perspective? These settings can be changed via camera in the options menu. So don't change perspective. Following can be set accessibility tab, the options menu, auditory, visual, physical, and motion sickness accessibility. And then it just says, please enter your age. There is nothing else there about it affecting or anything like that.
Okay.
So the Say report is 10 years old. So I'm putting the age of 10. Let's see what happens. Because I'm pretty sure this is a game that's rated M for mature. So maybe it's like, you can't play this game.
Yeah, right.
All right. Is this your correct age? The age you entered will not affect the content of the game. But once your age has been confirmed, it cannot be changed. So then why? Why do you need to know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if it's not going to affect the game, why is it a big part of it?
Yeah, I think that I think that it is one of two things. It's data collection with the idea that like they want to kind of see who is doing what in their games, because in addition to seeing who's playing their games, they also are going to have the ability to see how deep into the game you go, what choices you make while you're in it. There's a lot of stuff that they're going to be able to collect and connect to. If they can't connect it to you personally, because technically that's illegal, I think, to be collecting data on individuals through this kind of service. But what they can do is they can collect data on groups. Mm-hmm. As long as they don't associate it with personal information, they can still collect data. And so, like, yeah, it may not be that they know exactly what you in the middle of, Midwest anywhere wants to do with your games, but they know what people like you want, right? And this is how everything ends up creeping you out online, when you feel like Facebook is listening to you because they're feeding you ads for things that you swear you were just talking about with somebody, but it's because they don't know you personally, but they know enough people like you that they can put a good educated guess out there, and out of 100 versions of you, 80 of you are going to say, oh fuck, they were listening to me. This is exactly what I was talking about. So it's all a numbers game, right? And so like by asking for age, like it's probably most likely that. My hope, my real hope, is that there is some wild explanation about like, oh yeah, no, you put the age in and that's going to dictate like how many shots it takes to like take down certain like like some crazy thing like that would be amazing.
What is the game Eternal Darkness? Is that the one on GameCube that like just fucks with you on a meta level? Where like sometimes it'll like have a volume slider show up on the screen and increase or decrease the volume of the game, or like little things like that. I think it's Eternal Darkness. And if it's not that, then there's some game that like that's part of the horror experience.
There's the Metal Gear Solid series has a really good moment with one of the big bosses that is supposed to be more of the horror centric bosses, Psycho Mantis, who he could read the game data on your memory card.
Yeah. And
even threatens to like erase it and stuff like that, which at the time, back in the early 2000s, the idea that first of all it was reading your memory card because he would talk about the games that you were currently like playing and had save files for, and then threatened to like actually erase it was like that was like some deep dark shit back then.
Yeah. So it's also Eternal Darkness : Sanity's Requiem that holds the whole sanity effect system.
Mm-hmm.
So my hope was that like asking the age, that would be something, because that'd be cool, right? If they're like, oh, we know you're this person, because if you're like a 20-year-old, you're not gonna have the same like inward fears, right? Like we all know outward fears, right? Like, oh, I'm afraid of the dark, I'm afraid of the ocean, I'm afraid of like bats or sharks or things like that. Those are like external fears, but like your internal fears, Like, am I good enough? Do I have enough money for this? Will I be a good
people
parent?
like me?
Do people like
that
me?
kind of thing.
Like, those change with age. So it would be
Yes.
real interesting if this game, by asking your age, were preying on those fears. Now, because they ask you and then say it will not have an effect on the content of the game, I think that means that, like, that just means the story's not going to change, right? There's not going to be a moment where Leon's like, I wish I'd been a father rather than having to fight all of this, right? I wish I could have, like, just raised a family and had the backyard barbecues. And then, like, oh man, that's me for real, Leon. That's me for real. Like, that's not going to happen, right? The content of the game is still going to be the same. The story's still going to proceed the way it is. But when we talk about, like, CJ, do you know how many Resident Evil games have released in the tenure of the Say Report? This was fun for me to lose my mind over a little bit.
So 7, 8, and 9 plus the re-releases of 2 and 3, so that's 5. But then I think there was also a side one, so I would probably say 6.
You're forgetting the re-release of 4.
Oh right, the free release of 4, so that would have made 6. So 7.
I'm fairly certain it's 7. 6 is where I was at, because, like, I don't know if any of the side ones that released were brand new. I mean, like, 3 came along with the, like, asymmetric multiplayer game, so technically that would be different. And 4 came along with one too, so you could kind of get up to 8 just on those releases. And then there's the question of the DLC. Like, some of them are pretty robust. Like,
especially on 7. Some of the DLC for 7 are basically like whole other games.
Yeah. I was thinking about the one for 4 when you finally get to play as Ada Wong. Like, is almost as long as the whole Leon thing. Like, so, like, there's been a substantial amount of them, but I kind of lost myself here. I'm sorry.
There's been a ton of different Resident Evil games, because I wasn't even thinking that Village we were just talking about, Rose, had the entire Rose DLC.
Shadows of Rose,
basically its own story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we've talked about the AI, not AI scaling, the scaling for how good you're doing in the game, making the game harder. Where, like,
I think it's called AI scaling.
It is AI
that's
scaling,
what it's
right?
referred to. Yeah, because it learns as you play. If you're a good shot, it makes the game harder. If you're not so good, it dials it back a little bit for you.
Yeah. If you're not shooting at all, then it's like, oh, they're evading the zombies. So they kind of give them, like, larger hitboxes, or they give them, like, bigger moves for you to, like, that are harder to avoid. Like, that's the thing that we know was there from the RE2 remake. So, like, imagine, like, straight up, I was thinking about, so I played it on PlayStation 5 Pro. I did it with a DualSense Edge controller. So, like, the haptics in those controllers are crazy good, right? Like, and they had said with the DualSense that, like, they kind of want to be able to immerse you in the game further, and the controller will be, like, able to feel, like, have feedback. That never happened. I don't think that PlayStation ever did that. But imagine if, like, oh, my hands are a little bit sweaty, so the game, like, turns it up, right? Like, oh, we're getting a reaction from this person. Like, let's add to that. Let's mess with them a little bit more. Because as it is, there was one moment in the game that, like, kind of had me jump. And that was, like, and it was nothing. It was, like, a nothing moment that made me jump. Like, none of the moments that were supposed to be, like, oh, scary, really got me. And I'm not upset about that, right? Like, I've been playing these games for so long. I mean, I know how to approach them. Like, straight up, I understand how I would approach these scenarios. So the grace section of the game, via the fact that it is meant to be played in first person, it is very similar to 7. 7 is what I would do it. You're walking around in the Rhodes Care Center, and, you know, you're trying to get around. There are zombies there. There's a lot of, like, puzzles that, like, make sense to be in first person. You have a much narrower field of vision because you're supposed to be, like, seeing through Grace's eyes. And then when you play as Leon, you know, it's a little bit more action oriented, but nothing is bigger than that than, like, you go back to Raccoon City in this game. Spoilers for that
Mm-hmm.
moment. It was actually a huge part of the marketing near the end of it.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
in one of the trailers, they showed the police station, which was cool because that made me excited. As somebody who started this whole journey back in 2019 with the Resident Evil 2 remake, I had never finished a Resident Evil game. I can't say I never played them. I tried. They just was too big, like a barrier to entry, that the remakes kind of pulled away from that. And not for better or for ill, I suppose, but like really like being able to move and shoot and things like that. But still, like, I really love the mechanic where, like, if you're standing still when you aim, you shoot better. Like the crosshair gets tighter and you do more damage. But I also like the ability to like be running and gunning. I like that ability. But when you get to Raccoon City as Leon, I literally thought I wasn't going to play as Grace anymore, because it is such a seismic shift to the gameplay that you were doing when you were Grace at the Rhodes Care Center to what you're doing as Leon. This game's going to be divisive, because I think there are going to be some people who really like the Grace stuff because it feels like 7 and 8 with the forced first-person perspective, the way where, like, you'd find, like, a tape and you'd go back in time. A bunch of stuff with Grace is her going back into her memories because she finds something. And then we see why that was, like, important to her. Because the whole kickoff is going back to the hotel where Alyssa died, because another body was found there. And they're like, you're familiar with the hotel. We're going to send you to investigate it. Which, like, makes sense, right? An analyst with no field experience. Let's just send him out into the field. I love that. I love that movie, like, conceit, Siege.
Yeah.
But then,
I mean, it's something that we can all understand. It's that idea that, like, you're looking to prove yourself and get a promotion, and we all feel that at our jobs, right? So
yeah.
it reads nice for us.
Yeah, it does. And maybe if you're not 40 years old in the game, it's not like that. Maybe if you're like a 20-year-old, that they approach it different. No, I'm only kidding. But once you get to Raccoon City, your primary...
Yeah, we got some broccoli heads out there, no cap.
You get your Leon, and one of the first items you pick up is a Fitbit. It's not called a Fitbit, but in all things, it's a tracker that you wear on your wrist, and it tracks your kills. And every time you kill something, you get, like, combat points. And then there are supply boxes where Leon taps his little wristband on the supply box. It calculates his combat points, and then you can buy items from the supply boxes, like upgrades to the guns and stuff. It becomes real video gamey in, like, the second act of this game.
Wild.
And because at its core, Resident Evil 9 is 2 separate games. And I'm okay with that. It does not bother me. It's one long story, but you have Grace's game, which is a little bit more cerebral, a little bit more... She never gets... Well, Leon gives her a Magnum, like one of the first times they run into each other. He's like, take this, you're going to need it. And Leon, throughout the game, gets a robust arsenal. He gets multiple pistols. He has 3 separate pistols, 3 separate shotguns, 2 rifles, 2 machine guns. In addition to, like, some melee weapons and, like, a couple of bigger things as well that I'll keep as a secret. Grace gets a shitty pistol that she finds when she first frees herself after being, like, captured, because she gets captured while investigating the death of this guy where her mom died 8 years earlier. That's a thing that happens in the game. And she just, like, finds a pistol, but then she gets her original pistol back, and then she has the Magnum. But that Magnum has very, very limited bullets. Like, when you get it, you have, I think, 3 bullets in the gun, and any of the ways to craft more bullets only craft a single additional bullet. So, like, that thing is like, in case of emergencies, use this gun. But primarily, all she has is a pistol for such a large part of the game. And most of the knives you find are either makeshift knives, which reminds me of when me and my roommate on the Carnival Dream would make Dead Rising 2 had come out. So we were having a lot of fun, like, combining two things to make zombie fighting weapons. And one of them was a pair of scissors that we attached knives to. We called them knivesers. But, like, so you get makeshift knives that are just broken scissors. It's like a single scissor. So she gets those, and occasionally you can find hunting knives, but they've already been used. Like, you get people drop them, zombies drop the hunting knives, because one of the things with, like, wherever the T-virus has come to, because I'm fairly certain it's still the T-virus that we're dealing with within the world of RE9, the zombies are able to use tools now, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, the zombies, there were definitely zombies that could swing at you with, like, a knife, I think, at one point. Not in the original, not in 1, but maybe I'm misremembering. No, I might be conflating, like, stuff in 4. Yeah. You know, when you eventually get to, like,
where those are, like, parasite things. And
yeah, the Plagueis or whatever, Los Plagos.
Yeah.
Yeah. The T-Mobile stuff is...
The T-virus...
because, you know, you have the Tyrants and stuff. Oh, you know, because Nemesis. I'm thinking, like, Nemesis is T-virus, and that motherfucker can use guns. So,
I actually think that the Nemesis is the G-virus.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I think it's a different strain of virus that
is
creates
the Tyrant
Nemesis.
the last T-virus?
Tyrant is, I think, the apex of the T-virus in Resident Evil 2. Like, yeah, like that, like, so that whole thing, because he can use tools and things like that, but mostly he's a physical fighter. But regardless, it's that whole thing. But when I say, like, use tools and things,
Nemesis is T-virus.
It is T-virus? Okay, where does the G-virus come in? Because I know that's a whole part of it, too.
G-virus.
Yeah, Resident Evil.
G-virus might be what the liquors and stuff are made out of.
Or what Birkin ends up having. Like, the G-virus might be a more refined virus after the T-virus. I don't know. It's all ridiculous.
But notable examples of the T-virus include the Raccoon City outbreak, the Hive facility within the movie, and the BOWs like the Tyrant or Nemesis.
Gotcha. Cool. Awesome. Well, there you go. So Nemesis, he can, like, use tools and things like that. But, like, low-level guys, like, they'll use shotguns and machine guns. But, like, they don't, like, aim or anything like that, but, you know, they're, like, just swinging them around, but they're still dangerous because they, like, understand how to pull a trigger, like, and eventually when it's, like, soldiers, like, you talk about, like, in Romero's Dawn of the Dead, where he's, like, people are, like, the zombies tend to go back to what they did when they were alive, like, that instinct is still there with the T-virus infected things. And it's been mutating and growing so that they're capable of more speech now and things like that. It's really cool. And a little scary, let's be honest. Yeah. Like, that, how it would work. Like, if, like, they really applied a what if things, like, had actually proceeded from this type of outbreak. But once you become Leon, like, you're getting points for killing things, and those points can be traded in for, like, better guns or to upgrade the guns you currently have. It's a wild change from Grace, where, like, you only have a pistol and you don't want to aggro too many things, or it's very much, I need to avoid this. Like, I need to stay in the light so this thing will stay away from me. Completely different gameplay between the two of them, making them feel like completely different games, which is cool. Because, like, one of the big things from Resident Evil 2 is that you have the Claire story and you have the Leon story, but they are pretty much the same story, right? Like, Claire doesn't feel uniquely weaker than Leon in any ways, or even going back to, like, Resident Evil 1, right, with Jill or Chris. Like, Jill gets bailed out by Barry in a lot of moments where Chris has to save himself. Like, that's not really, like, I don't know. I don't really know anything about the first game. I still have to play through the first game.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it gets a remake like RE2. Because the remake that they first came out with the still, like, the set camera views and stuff, and it didn't work for me, I'll be honest with you. But yeah.
Well, what's weird is you said that what is it? What are the names? It's Alyssa Ashford,
Alyssa Ashcroft, and then her daughter Grace Ashcroft. Yeah.
Okay. The thing that's fucking me up is that they're in the movie storyline. There is a family called Ashford.
Yes.
That is what's his name there from Mr. Deeds as the
John
dad
Turturro.
No, not John Turturro. The bad guy, Mr. Deeds. Jared Harris.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Jared Harris plays a Dr. Ashford in the movies, and he like ends up like infecting his daughter and shit like that by accident and stuff. It's yeah. Anyway,
very Full Metal Alchemist. I'm a jerk. I love you, brother. But yeah, so like going back to Raccoon City, and like it's like a real examination of what was going on in Resident Evil 2. It brings so much together from this series of games. Like, as somebody who has only played the remakes and 7, 8, and 9, like, this feels like such payoff for me in everything that I saw in the game. It also does a lot of moments that kind of feel like callbacks to earlier Leon things that you had to do. Redfield's not there. He's mentioned, and it's like, where are you? And it's like, it's not important where I am. But, like, I know where he is. He's over in Europe doing the village stuff, right? Like, that only makes sense. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's a fun game. It is really a fun game. I think people are going to be divided by the fact that when you become Leon, the game is so action-oriented. I shared you my clear time. I beat it in 10 hours and 25 minutes. And I don't know if that's accurate or not, or if that's just like when I continue, it resets the clock or things like that. Because I started at midnight on release date, so February 27th. December, what the fuck? And I played until like 8 o'clock in the morning, because then I had to work. Luckily, I got to work from home. So, like, that was 8 solid hours of playing. Like, I even texted you. I'm like, how did I lose 90 minutes in this game already? Like, it doesn't feel like I've done anything, and it's freaking 1:30. But yeah. And prior to recording, I'll save some of the story elements so you get to play the game. It is good. It is payoff. Even if you're not deep in the lore, it gives some pretty satisfying stuff. And it kind of subverts a lot of the stuff that Resident Evil has done up to this point. And as much as I'm like, wow, this feels like a different game. Like, I had just gotten to the Leon in Raccoon City section of the game when I took a break from it, where I'm like, yeah, I'm going to take a break. Like, this feels like a natural point. I got to go to work anyway. So, like, let's see what we can do. Taking that break and then coming back made it easier to swallow how diametrically different the game becomes once you're Leon S. Kennedy. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious to hear how people react. I'm glad you enjoyed it, though.
Absolutely. And prior to, as I was going to say before I gave into that thing, semi-spoiler free. I think it is mostly spoiler free. Like, I haven't shared any of the much deeper stuff that happens once you're in Raccoon City. And as I said, in the marketing, like RE9 or RE Requiem, it's all about, like, return to Raccoon City has been the message. But I completed all of the challenges that are not tied to completing the game a second, third, or fourth time. So I did it on Classic Standard, or is that what it's called? Let me check what I sent over to the Discord, our personal internal Discord, the Discord behind the curtain. Is this vamping working for anybody else? General. Yeah, Standard, Classic. in 10 hours, 25 minutes, and 51 seconds. So that's interesting. So there's casual mode. From the beginning, you have casual, standard, modern, and standard classic. So the difference between modern and classic is that classic, you need ink ribbons to save. So it feels like the earlier games, which is fun.
There's like
and
limited saves and things like that.
Well, I mean, like there's limited saves, but straight up, they give you the ability to craft ink ribbons. So if you need to save, you're probably going to be able to find a way to save.
Cool.
There's no shortage of that.
But you need to collect them. You need to actively be collecting them or ingredients rather than just having the ability to.
Yes. And that's only as Grace. Grace uses typewriters to save, so she needs ink ribbons. In Leon's mode, he uses computers. So those don't require ink ribbons. Like they
really?
It's a little like he also has a lot more. Like, as Grace in Classic Standard, you do not have any autosaves. Like, your saves are only the saves you make at a typewriter. As Leon, the game autosaves, and you can start from those autosaves. So, like, right before a fight, say, or right after you completed, like, a big challenge, things like that. So, the Leon section, I think they understood how difficult it was in terms of, like, gaming. So they made it a little bit more forgiving. But though each of those modes has a trophy attached to it, and by beating it on Standard Classic, I did unlock the Standard Modern and the Casual trophies. But beating it on any difficulty unlocks Insanity Mode, which I've been watching some people play Insanity Mode, and it does look insane. Like, basically, it's a one-hit kill from everything. Like, the person I was watching was like, I'm not going to get the healing items. They're all in dangerous places, and one hit kills me anyway, so why would I have to heal?
Right,
Like,
there'd be no...
there's no incentive to do that. So that's an interesting change and things like that. So what I have to do now is I have to beat the game without healing. I have to beat the game without using Grace's crafting style, because it like uses a specialized sort of collectible that is pretty prevalent in the game. I need to complete Insanity Mode, and I need to beat the game in under 4 hours. So, I mean, there's some special content that I'm working towards, like infinite ammo, infinite rocket launcher, and things like that. So I'm going to be able to do those things, but all the other stuff, like shoot all the Mr. Raccoon things, find all the files, like all the smaller stuff, I've completed all of that. The big thing about this game, and this is what we are going to talk about, because this is semi-spoilery, but like, it's the stuff I hate. But like right now, because people are working on it, it's because I'm part of it while it's live, it doesn't bother me the same way as like Axiom Verge did, where at this point, because the game is basically dead, the only way to solve these like ARG style puzzles is to just look up the answers online. Like, well, it becomes that because like part of that ARG puzzle for Axiom Verge is that like every time you loaded up the game, it gave one of 6 different like text areas.
Oh yeah, well, coming together with like doing like group solving on some ARG stuff, I'm definitely behind. Yeah,
but like you have to be there for it because now, however many years after the release of Axiom Verge, if you look, there's no like active community. So if you try to find any of that stuff, you're just gonna find the solution. Does that make sense? Like Axiom Verge 2's like big meta puzzle, that was fun. Tunic's big meta puzzle, as much as that game kind of began to grit for me, it was real fun being part of the solving of the larger puzzle that was going on behind the scenes of Tunic. And there's one, it's called the final puzzle. All the challenge names unlock once you finish the game, so you can see what you're aiming for. I love that. I absolutely love that the challenges are locked behind to clear the game, because then I'm not focused on them. If I don't know what the challenges are, then I won't get obsessed with them. I'll just want to play the game. And, like, suddenly I want to play the game a second time now, right? You son of a bitch. Yeah. Way to go with replayability. And that's honestly what Resident Evil is all about for me, is the replayability. But yeah, so this final puzzle, like, people have been working on it since release date, and they've currently stalled out. And I've done all of that stuff. Like, I'm at the stall out point. And I don't know. The clue is, let the sweet pair, P-A-I-R, hear the voice. And I don't know what the fuck that means.
No, wait, and this is within the game or somewhere outside of the game?
It's within the game. All of the stuff is within the game. Like, people have found connective. So it's not like one of those big, like, meta puzzles. All the stuff to solve it is inside. But It's such a big puzzle that now the community is working on solving it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, because you, like, find an item that, like, you're able to analyze, and that gives you, like, a code. And then you have to find what each of the letters in the code mean. And then once you do that, you understand where you have to go with that information. And so that's where it stalled out, is that people have deciphered the code and have entered it into the one place where it should be entered. And then this is a spoiler. When you enter that code into that location area, you hear a scary laugh. But we don't know. No one knows what's going on outside of that.
Interesting.
Yeah. Like, all of the things are aligned, like, this is where we've stalled out. We will update this once we have more.
Interesting.
And
I'm very into this.
Yeah, like, this stuff is cool. Because, like, it's, like, that's the stuff that's, like, gonna keep me driving, too. And that's where...
I thought you were just saying, like, they were, like, puzzles that you just were, like, just too esoteric to figure out. Like, that sucks when you have to start going looking for answers for puzzles because the solution is just not there, you know?
Well, okay, so... as a for instance in this, like, the code is, like, comprised of a C, a U, a G, and an A, and then finding what each of those mean, you have to, like, find them within the world.
Yeah.
So, like, the U, I'll give the U because this was really cool when I found this one. Is you get an hourglass, and that hourglass seems to have no usage at all. But if you tip it over and then look at the part that was full of sand, there's stuff etched into that. And
nice.
Like, it's, yeah. And then you need to, like, and then it's even one step further to figure out what that could even possibly mean.
Nice.
So,
awesome.
Like, it's very good. Like, and I didn't engage in it until I got the item on my own and then analyzed it. And then I figured out all the other stuff. Like, I deciphered the code based on all the stuff that I had. So I don't know, but I'm excited to see when this final puzzle gets solved. But solving the final puzzle is worth half of the points of completing the game in insanity mode for, like, the special content shop. Like, you get 40,000 points if you can beat the game on insanity mode. You get 20,000 points for solving the final puzzle. Ooh. And eventually it's just going to be something that you can look up. But when I'm talking about, like, it requires you to do things in certain specific orders as Grace and as Leon. Like, there's no way that you could solve the puzzle, like, in one playthrough. Because part of the solution is after the part where the puzzle lives, and you have to do something as Leon. Like, it's real cool.
I'm very into this. Very excited to see where this goes.
So I'm excited to learn more about it. But, like, right now, I started my casual playthrough where I'm trying to not use any healing items or any of Grace's crafting stuff. And I got to the part where Grace gets kidnapped. I rushed through the Grace intro and the Leon intro stuff. And also, that's the thing, the second time through, your second playthrough of the game, and I did it as a new game, so this happens once you've beaten the game, Leon starts collecting points from the jump. You don't have to wait till you get to Raccoon City. But as part of that, there is prices are higher now because you're going to be collecting points earlier on. So
Okay.
There's some cool stuff going on. I'm digging it. I'm really digging it.
Yeah. That's fantastic.
So there's a relatively spoiler-free review of Resident Evil Requiem. If you're a fan of this series, it's a must-play. Like, I have to say that. It is a game that, like, brings together so much of what we know. Oh, God. And the final boss, like... Not even this is gonna sound like a brag, and on some level it is. I was able to beat it with just parries and pistols. My first time fighting it. And that felt fucking cool. Like, knowing the mechanics of the game got me that clear. The game, it rewards you for being a Resident Evil player. I love it. I love it. And I didn't think that this is where I was going to be when I sat in front of the mic to talk about it. I have to be honest with you. Like, but all I want to do, like, to quote Todd Rundgren, I don't want to record. I just want to play Resident Evil 9. Which is why...
Man, that's awesome. That's fantastic.
Yeah, if you don't have it... So, yeah, if you've never played one before, I still think it's a pretty good jumping on point, especially because stuff that you... like... I think it's the kind of game where you play it and then it's like, I kind of want to go back and play the second game because there's so many references to it. I kind of want to go back and play the third game because of the references that are there. Like, it is very much, it's good marketing and it's a good game. And I think that's the best that you can ask for.
Yeah, I mean, when in this day and age, right?
Yeah.
Like, everything has to also make some money. So
Right.
if it's gonna have to make some money, let it at least be good.
Right. It does not have... I was not the biggest fan of Resident Evil 8 Village. And the reason why is that it goes on one section too long. Like, it's strange. A lot of the people that I've, like, talked about Resident Evil 9 with, they're like, I wish it were a little bit longer. And I'm like, I think the length is perfect. Because there was never a moment where I'm like, can we just get on with it? But the entire factory section of Resident Evil Village, I'm like,
Sure, yeah.
Can we just get on with this? Like,
Yeah,
this
what's
is
his name
not
there? Hindenburg or whatever.
Yeah, the guy who's like Magneto, basically. And then, like, the final fight is a mech fight. Like, the whole thing just, like, this game was pretty video gamey from the start. Resident Evil 8, very video gamey from the jump. But, like, there's, like, one section too many in that game. And I mean, that's my opinion on that. So other people may vary. But this one, there's never a moment. Like, it's varied enough and it's engaging enough in its gameplay and its story that there was never a moment where I'm like, all right, now I get the point. Let's move on from here. Like, yeah. So big seal of approval from Devin. And that's before we're even talking about spoilers, because I want Sejin to play and experience this game, because I know he'll enjoy it. Like, just straight up, I know you'll have a good time with it. And I think part of that is the things that you find out along the way. All right. That being said, anything else you want to say to the people, Sejin, before we send this one out? Because I don't know if you know this, but I'd rather be playing Resident Evil 9 right now.
I would actually probably be playing. I've been playing some Dragon Quest. I want to play the Brandy new one, but I'm playing 7 at the moment.
Oh, the remake of it that just released?
The remake of 7. Yeah,
it looks so good.
It is really good, and the ability to switch back and forth between, like, the new graphics and the old graphics and stuff is ridiculous.
That's awesome.
Because I say new graphics and old graphics, but it's 3D and 2D. Like, you don't just change graphics, you change the entire system.
The entire engine. Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah.
Oh, so cool. All right. So, yeah. So, do you want to do any more on that, or are we good right now?
Oh, I'm not deep enough in that to get too onto it. I've actually, what I did is that I started playing that game, got about an hour into it, and was like, I need to show my family this because this is going to be one that they're going to love too.
Gotcha.
Which it's my first real like swing at a Dragon Age game. I've owned them before, especially with the amount of shit that has come into my possession over the years, shall we say, when it comes to video games, whether that was legally or otherwise.
You mean Dragon Quest,
I've had,
right? You said Dragon Age. I just want to not
Dragon Quest. I mean Dragon Quest. Dragon Quest is a game that I have glanced at, right, but I've never quite like dove into. And so that was why I wanted to do it this time. It was on sale, I think, to celebrate the new one coming out, and so I grabbed it for I think $20, and like I started playing it, was instantly like I should play this with my family because I get the impression this is going to be the kind of thing that we could get real down on, and then there's a bunch of other games we could buy to play in this world.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I hope that works out. I really got to finish Dragon Quest 3 so that I can get 1 and 2. Because I want to play them. It's never been more engaging than with the new coat of paint they threw on those games. Like, yeah. All right. Well, if that's it for the episode, thank you so much for joining us for this episode of the Say Report. If you want to keep the conversation going, you can join our Discord server. Invitations to join are available wherever we are on social media, which as of this recording is Facebook and X, formerly Twitter. Just go over to our bio pages. You'll find a link that's an invitation link to join the Discord. But if you're not on social media, and legitimately in this day and age, we cannot blame you for that. You can just send an email to us directly, thesayreport@gmail.com. Apologies for not checking it this past week. I've literally been stuck in the house. So sorry if I have missed anything, but I will get back to it the day this episode releases. We can send out an invitation to join us in the Discord, or if Discord is also something you're kind of iffy about, we can just communicate via email, thesayreport@gmail.com. The most important thing is that if you're sending an email for myself, Devin Decker, or for Siegen Sarowik, just put our names in the subject line and we will distribute it appropriately to the Say Reporter of your choosing. But understand that if you write something to me that I feel is super juicy and that I want to share with Siegen on the show, I'm probably going to share it with Siegen on the show. Just understand that anything that you submit to us is subject to being discussed on an episode of the Say Report, for better or for worse. All of that said, again, thank you so much for joining us. Scott Pilgrim X's comes out this week, the beat-em-up game. I know I'm going to be playing that, so if you know me IRL and you want to talk about that one, get in touch. Probably going to force Siegen to play it. Sorry, that just jumped into my head as we're doing the closing, is the fact that we have another beat-em-up coming already. It's exciting stuff. All of that said, thank you so much for joining us for this latest episode of the Say Report. And William, please bring us home. Later.
Thank you for listening to the Say Report with your host Devin Decker and Siegen Sarowik. Please follow the guys on Twitter and Facebook by searching for The Say Report, and you can always subscribe on your podcast channel so this is delivered straight to you and you can enjoy it every week. With apologies to your mother, we'll see you next time.